So that night when I went to sleep, I had a vision or a dream, or I don't know what you call it. The Spirit said to me, you're not gonna visit Africa. You're going to move there. I laughed. I was like, that's not gonna happen. My wife ain't gonna go for that. She'll go for a visit, but she ain't going to move. The next morning, she was coming out of her study, walking down the hallway, and I said, honey, I had a dream last night that, it said to me that we're not going to visit Africa, but we're gonna move there. And she said, okay. And I almost passed out because that wasn't supposed to happen.
This sit on my wall in America for almost 15 years. This was what I call my dream home. And I was gonna build it in America, which was gonna cost us $4.5 million to build it there. Here we could have built it for about $350,000.
When God moves, He moves in ways that just amaze you, because I knew she was not gonna agree to moving here. But she said yes right away. That has never happened.
Hello, welcome to our home.
Come on in.
Alright guys, so we're here at the entrance and this house is already incredible. Look at this here, what we got here. You can tell from the moment you step in, this is a custom house. This is not a cookie cutter house, this is the custom house. What is the idea behind this lion, not sheep?
It's from the Bible that we are as believers in Christ, we're lion, not sheep. Sheep follow, lions lead.
Wow, excellent. And you play pool yourself?
A little bit. I
Okay. Nice. Very cool. And you got the bar area. So, when you were building this house, are you taking inspiration from other places, or is this just
that's
straight out of your?
This was our inspiration. I'll show you the original plans, and then we had an architect that was more of a minimalist. Mm-hmm. So he shrunk everything.
Okay.
So the house was supposed to be way bigger than what it is. I mean, in the same space, but he widened some passageways and he made some bedrooms smaller, which.
But then they had to go with a certain style here, Tuscany or something.
Right.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Versus what we came with more of a Mediterranean style design. So I just told him, I just need all of these rooms in that building. You can make the building look like whatever you want it to look like. Mm-hmm. But I should have checked his dimensions.
Okay, I see.
But it's just us two.
So do they have to go with a certain style on the exterior because of the estate?
Yes.
But I think they're loosening that up. I think they're loosening that up a little bit because I've seen some more modern styles being built.
Yeah. So I mean, I noticed they're building a lot of houses currently.
There was nothing here when we got here.
Really, and
except for the two houses on the other side of the street. This whole row was desert. It was just dirt.
And that was how long ago? Just
3 years ago.
Just a few years ago. Wow, just 3 years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, things can come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Okay, so if we move forward, then you guys have a cinema here.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, what prompted it was my wife she was in her last year of work, and when she said, when I retire, I'd like to visit Africa. And I said, oh, okay, we can visit Africa. Never thought about it, because at that point we were gearing up to move, and we were looking at different states. We were looking at Florida, we were looking at Texas, and we were looking at Nevada, and we were looking at Tennessee, and we were looking at, because we just wanted to get out of California. It was just getting too crazy. And so that night when I went to sleep, I had a vision or a dream, or I don't know what you call it, a visitation. And the Spirit said to me, you're not going to visit Africa. You're going to move there. And I laughed. I was like, that's not going to happen, because my wife ain't going to go for that. She'll go for a visit, but she ain't going to move. And, you know, my wife, good woman, but when she throws down an anchor, it's down for a while. And so the whole idea was, because we were doing real estate and investing and stuff like that, and, you know, it was like I would look at properties that I would like, well, let's get in on the ground floor of this. And she would hold out to the last minute. So when this thing about Africa came up, I just knew that that wasn't going to happen. So the next morning, she was coming out of her study, walking down the hallway, and I said, honey, you know, I had a dream last night that, you know, it said to me that we're not going to visit Africa, but we're going to move there. And she said, okay. And I almost passed out because that wasn't supposed to happen. And I was like, oh, Lord. And I just, you know, I went into prayer. I just said, Lord, please don't send me to some third world country. And so I just started doing research. And I'll let her tell it from there.
Well, he was starting research. We were watching different videos, and you know, we looked at Ghana and Gambia and all these different countries. And then when we seen South Africa, we just knew South Africa was the place.
And so then we started doing research. We traveled out here for 30 days, and you know, we started looking at properties and stuff, and we were trying to, you know, just find our way around. And so then we found a property, but the lady that owned the property was an elderly lady. She lived in China, so it was hard going back and forth. And so our friend Lucky Bickerman, he was going to keep in touch with her, and then so we went back to the States, and then we got a call that, you know, she wasn't gonna release. She wasn't gonna release because we only needed one of the two properties. She wanted to keep them joined together, and so that deal fell through. So we had to come back. So we came back for another 30 days, and then we looked at different houses, and you know, but everything was 2-story, and you know, even though they said, well, we can put an elevator in, I kind of had my heart set on just building. And so we ended up deciding to build, but then in itself was totally different because, you know, I would always pray when we would put in a bid on something and say, Lord, if this is not for us, shut it down. And he did. And she can tell you how he shut it down.
Well, the first lot we've been on, the owner actually went up on the price. The first one she wouldn't separate. The second one he went up on the price.
And then there was one more.
There was one more, but we had seen this lot.
We had seen this lot.
He came back from our offer to purchase. We had put in an offer to purchase, and he actually, I don't remember if he went up, but anyways, it ended like 12 o'clock that day, that offer to purchase. And we had seen this lot, so we were like, we hope we don't hear from him. Yeah. So whatever he said, we didn't respond, and then we put a bid for this lot.
Yeah, because he came back at 11:45 with a counter, and we just let the offer expire. And because we were standing on this lot at the time when it expired with the realtor, and I said, go ahead and offer on this lot. And because we were leaving the next day. So, I said, we don't have time to mess around, because she said, don't offer the whole full price. I said, no, we'll give him full price because we need an answer because we're leaving. And so we put in the offer for full price offer, and he accepted it, but then he dropped the price. He dropped the price anyway. So I was like, I said, okay, Lord, I know that's you. Because, you know, we offered him, 4.5, and was it 4.5?
I think.
Or 2.5. But anyway, he dropped it by almost $1 million. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I know this is you. And so we bought the lot and went back to America.
To sell our house.
And we went back to sell. When God moves, He moves in ways that just amaze you, because I knew she was not going to agree to moving here. But she said yes right away. That has never happened. So I knew it had to be him. And then when the deal came in the way it did, I knew that was him. So I was like, okay, Lord, you got me here. What now? Because we were doing full-time ministry. I was preaching and, doing other stuff, finance, and we were doing marriage stuff. And
He was on the go.
we were always on the go. And I'm like, okay. And I had retired. She was still working. I retired in 2014. But I was like, okay, Lord, I'm here. What's the purpose? And I'm just waiting on an assignment. We've had plenty of offers to do things, but I'm waiting to hear what is it for me. But, as we go, we bless people. And I think that's part of what he wanted us to do. Just
slow down.
Just to
We've
slow
been
down.
Going so much.
Yeah, and just bless people. And so that's what we do. We try to be a blessing everywhere we go. And just be until I hear from him, because, I don't want to get spun back up the way we were going, because we were going 24/7, just to give you an idea. We had a brand new Buick. Let's put it like this. The dealer would see us every other month for oil change. We were putting just that many miles on the car. Every 7,500 miles, that was every other month. So we were,
When I was a commuter.
and she was a commuter too, going back and forth to work. So, we would burn out cars just running, doing ministry. And so I think this was just our time to just relax and do nothing.
Hey Web Nation family, something real is happening now. Spots for our November trip 2026 is actively being taken and people are booking now as you watch it. That means this is no longer an idea, it's happening guys. It's real. If you've been watching these stories and you are feeling that pull and you're telling yourself, I will do it someday, that someday is now. Right now you can secure your spot with just a deposit. Now, if you want a payment plan, then your deadline for payment is this April 30th. The question is simple. Are you coming? Click the link in the description now to secure your spot or scan the QR code and I'll see you in South Africa. Now, let's get back into the video.
Wow. Okay. So I take it you're a movie guy, huh?
Yes, we are. We actually.
Nice.
That was one of the things we brought from America was Bibles, books, and DVDs.
Oh man. Yeah, some people watching this might not even know what a DVD is. So right next to the cinema, they've got a gym.
This is the Rhino Gym. She told you about all of the rooms have themes, right?
No, not yet. So this is the Rhino gym. Okay. And the rhino represents what?
Power.
Power. Wow. So you got all your equipment in here. You've got the punching bag. All right, y'all don't want to mess with this guy at all.
First, this is a room that when most people see it, they want to stay in this room.
Wow.
After we've had that many visitors, we have more South African friends visit than Americans.
So nice. Yeah, you get a view of
So
everything.
this room has probably the best view. I mean, we have the same view from our bedroom terrace, but they've got this view, which is a really nice view. This room can be a sauna though.
Yeah, yeah.
Sauna. So one of my projects is to put a ceiling fan out here.
Oh yeah, that'd be
But
nice.
all of these doors open.
They
stack
open
all
up,
the
so
way open.
oh yeah.
So we can open up the whole house.
Nice. Very nice. So that's the elephant room, and then
Guest rooms with jacuzzi tubs and
wow.
really, I don't think I really had too much expectation. Well, I guess I did because I was surprised when I seen even just driving from the airport, all the buildings and just the city. You know, we don't really see that when we're in America. So I think that's mainly that. And I don't know, I hadn't really thought too much about the expectation, but what I did find was that, you know, the people were so welcoming and this made you feel at home. And then you just, once you get here and you just see it and spend time here, you just feel like this is where you belong. And actually our first trip, 30-day trip, I didn't want to leave. And then the second 30-day trip, I really didn't want to leave. And it was right after COVID, and I got like into a little depression when I took the COVID test. And I was like, please be positive so I can stay here. But no. So I just loved it. I mean, it exceeded any expectations I had, even though I wasn't thinking about it ahead of time. But yes, I was pleasantly surprised at everything that we seen here when we first got here.
Yeah, I can say ditto to that because I loved it. It wasn't what I had envisioned because that's not what we had seen on TV. And that's not what we had been led to believe. But when we got here, we saw, you know, I'm like, this is a third world. I've seen more Mercedes and Range Rovers and Bentleys. And I'm like, okay, how do people in a third world country own this?
Right.
You know, it's like, now you walked our house, and our house is decent size, but our house is small compared to a lot of these houses around here. Like Ben's house right over there is like over 10,000 square feet. You know, it's like it's massive, you know, and it's like, but that's what you see here. You know, it's like there's luxury, there's massive wealth here. I've met a lot of the people here. Most of the people that live here are diplomats, DJs and actresses and, you know, engineers. They're independently wealthy, very nice, you know, totally nice people. And it's like, okay, I don't see the danger because we were told, be careful, you know, you gotta watch out. And I'm like, with the crime, I'm like, the little crime that I have seen is nothing compared to America. Right. You know, if these criminals went to America, they'd be scared. So, you know, I love it here.
Is this a sauna you have there too?
I have a sauna.
Wow. You've got a sauna right there, so you got the book in there already. Okay, so y'all are obviously big on education. I could tell that. You got the study right next to the front door.
Yes.
Wow.
Head down this way. Wow. And when I was talking about the themes, each room has a theme. The first room we're going to come to is the zebra.
Wow. And you got a zebra here on the bed. Everything's black and white. This is really well thought out. I could tell. Wow. Very nice. And then so the bathroom, I'm assuming, is this way. Wow. And then what sort of stone are you using throughout the house?
As far as what tile?
Yeah.
I don't.
Or is it's a mix of a bunch of different things?
We picked it out. Originally, the whole house was supposed to have epoxy flooring. And when we go to the garage, I'll show you. I found a guy that could do epoxy, but he didn't do it to my specifications. So we didn't do the whole house.
Okay.
You know, I will redo the house once I find somebody that can do what I want done. But
we found some towels that my wife liked, and we just went with that.
Very nice. Wow.
This room is the lion room. That's our room.
This is the lion room. I love that you have the animal on
Yes.
each bed. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Very nice. Oh man. Uh-oh. This is a man's dream right here. Wow.
I had to get rid of some of my suits. I got rid of about 40.
You got rid of
Matter
40
fact, I
suits.
gave 3 away to one of the construction workers here.
Wow. Okay, so he is he's well suited now.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll probably give away some more. I don't wear them anymore. I used to have to wear suits for work, so that's why I ended up with so many. And so,
Well, how important is looking good? It's not just about, vanity and having other people compliment you, but looking good makes you feel better.
feel good,
right?
yeah. I was raised to dress for success.
Wow.
Now I dress for comfort nowadays.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely seems like you earned it. Wow. That is nice. This shower is massive. What? Man, how do you even? Okay,
You
so.
can just push the door. You can just push it.
Oh, you push this door in. Okay. Wow. Okay. I don't think video does this justice, guys. This is a massive shower. Wow. And then you've got all these knobs here. This looks like the control room. Wow.
Typical day for me, okay. I'll let her tell you about her typical day, but a typical day for me is I wake up around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I may get up around 8:30, 9 o'clock, unless there's something going on. And then I do my Bible study. I do Bible study in the morning, and then I'll either do a workout in the gym and then sit in the sauna. And then I'll just, if my wife doesn't have anything that we need to do, because I do one thing a day. I tell her I'll do one thing a day. And so if we have something to do that day, then we'll do that. And if not, I'm just hanging out here. Unless somebody calls and says, do you want to do something? So that's my day.
And I usually wake up around 7, just depending on what time you go to bed. But I spend like the first 4 hours of my day in that quiet time. I write in a journal, I read the Bible. We have Bible studies that we do. Pray, and I write a devotion every day that I send out on social media, and just spend time enjoying the nature. I walk around outside and pray and enjoy the peace and quiet of our little corner of the golf course over there, over here. And then by that time, we're ready for lunch. So just depends. We go out and get it or make it, but it's just a leisure time. Spend time together. And then when we have friends from America that come and go. So somebody will be in town and want to do something, or we have our South African family that we spend time with them whenever we can. And that's about it. It's relaxing. And then, of course, I do like to travel and do safaris and see the animals. So we do that maybe once or twice a year, going on different trips and seeing other parts of Africa.
Yeah. And then our day culminates in the cinema.
Of course, yes.
And so we may end up in there for dinner time around 6:30. And we may be there till 2, 3 in the morning.
And then, I take walks. So we both were taking walks early in the morning. we kind of got out of the habit. But
Yeah.
that is going.
Well, we got to get back into the habit.
But yeah, we were walking half the golf course every morning when it was still dark because you're supposed to be off by 6, but people aren't there all the time.
So guys, YouTube told us that 72% of you guys watching have not subscribed. Maybe you forgot. Please do subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, it's free. That's how you show your support to us, and we promise to bring you an amazing content every week, twice a week at this point. So please subscribe now and stay tuned to Webnation Africa.
Carbon copy. That's a thing.
Eventually, we're gonna have the animals stenciled on the walls.
Oh yeah. All of the rooms will have 3D pictures of it.
And then you've got an outdoor area here too.
This room has an outdoor area because it doesn't have a view of the golf course, so we gave it an outdoor area. My wife is designing this area, so it's still a work in progress.
Wow. Oh, beanbag toss. Okay.
We got the game going on.
Man.
We chose single level. One, because we're getting older, and her parents were in their 90s, and so we were hoping that they would come and live with us. And so that's why we have the ramp in there. And her mother passed a few months ago. Her dad's still living. He's 95. And so we're hoping to get him here.
Okay.
And, while we're here, you can see from right here, we did solar tiles versus solar panels. Tiles are way more efficient than solar panels. And my wife didn't like the look of solar panels on the roof, so
Yeah.
I had to bite the bullet, spend the money.
Uh-huh.
But my dad always said, money is only something you need if you don't die tomorrow.
Wow. Wow, no, that's important. That's important to keep in mind.
This house, this was the boundary wall right here. And it went, as you can see, this fence went through the house. And we literally had wires, we had wires and stuff through the walls because we were waiting for them to come and knock the fence down so that we could finish the house. And we were sitting here waiting. Every day we would be checking, are they coming today? Are they coming today? And my builder said, we ain't got time to wait. So he built around it. And then when they came and knocked down the fence, we told them, don't knock this down. We'll keep it. Because we gave up about 3 meters. And I was like, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need it. I didn't want to have to rebuild the wall.
Right.
So that's the
Well,
So this is the original perimeter wall.
wow. Well, it's nice you had a problem solver to help you. Yeah.
We got it.
some groceries are going out to restaurants. That's health insurance, the car insurance, the home insurance, the monthly stuff. We pre-buy the electricity, so that's usually for 4,000 rand a month. And then, that's about it. Gas and about 35,000.
Well, she do most of the driving. I'm slowing down on driving. I may have to hire a driver because I'm gonna forget how to drive. But yeah, we don't have a whole lot of expenses here. I mean, the house is paid for, so just
the levies.
Just the levies and things like that.
That too.
So I don't believe in debt. I'm a firm, like I told you when we were talking, I live by the Bible. Man in debt is a slave. I don't want to be a slave. So if I can't afford it, I don't get it. If I can put it on lay-by, I'll do that, but I don't have to do that. if it, you know, it's like we've been blessed to the point to where we got everything we need, want, and desire. But I don't believe in debt. I stayed in debt too many years and never again. Well, we were out of debt before we moved here, but yeah, it was just, we're not going to fall back into old bad habits. And so, because we did that before, we were out of debt, you know, right after we had taken this one class, this guy came to our church and he gave a class and, you know, helped us to get our debt and stuff taken care of. And then we forgot what we learned and got back in debt. And I was like, why did we do that? And we got out again, and then we did it again. And that next time, after that, we were teaching Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace. So we started teaching the classes. And so that helped us to maintain, because we were teaching other people, but we were also maintaining staying out of debt. And so that's, go ahead.
I was just gonna, it was nice that when we built the house, we paid as we went. So when they gave us that certificate of occupancy, everything was paid for. So that was very nice.
Yeah.
Wow. This is where most of my inspiration comes from.
This is how you close a deal right here, people.
Yes.
This is the original design we came with. This sit on my wall in America for almost 15 years.
15 years.
15 years. This was what I call my dream home. And I was going to build it in America, which was going to cost us, it was going to cost us $4.5 million to build it there. Here, we could have built it for about $350,000.
Wow.
Pretty much what we spent. Let's see.
You spent about $350,000 to have.
Give or take.
Well,
Well, when it comes to the finishes,
Yeah.
the finishes got a little expensive. You know, like that roof took me over my budget about $1 million.
the roof
$1
and
million rand.
the estimate over $1 million. And
Right,
Okay.
and then
the cinema was another million
another
over,
million.
Okay.
over the
So
what the contractor had estimated for.
I see. So let's say there were 0 mistakes, which is impossible with you know, doing something like this. Let's say there were 0 mistakes. Would you have been about your estimated budget?
Yeah.
I think we had to go back and ask for $200,000 more at the end.
At the end.
But that's when we were working on the interior
We were doing
stuff. So that was
finishing is more expensive, especially when you got a wife.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, you asked about the gate. See, this came with me. All of this was my dream book that I brought with, saying these are the things that I wanted in our home. So, and we pretty much did all of them.
And we had done another dream book. We had a house on a golf course. He looked back through it, and it was almost everything we had in there.
Wow.
I'll let you in my personal life. We did a dream book, and we did this 20-some odd years ago. And, pretty much everything happened just the way we said it would happen. This is where we said we would live one day. You see the view?
And wow. And this is.
Well, that's in California.
That's in California.
And that was just our dream book.
Yeah. And then at some point, that vision changed completely.
Well, it came. There's the waterfall. That's right there. Fire your boss. We did that. Fire your boss.
Wow. So are you two coming up with these ideas together? You just in one room, like, hey, we need to do this. This is our timeline.
Yeah, we talked about it.
And we just looked at different things and pulled out things that we liked.
We wanted a cinema.
You got a cinema.
But I I was a little more simplistic than that.
This was what I wanted when I was 17. It's 50,000 square feet of home, and I started to build it.
50,000 square feet of home.
Yeah, that's when I wanted all my family with us, and so then we set up a financial freedom account, and we hit that. And
This is a plan for how you achieve financial freedom.
well, yeah, it's a dream, what they call a dream book, and we did this years ago, and we just forgot about it, and but we had different things that kept us motivated to get our freedom, to fire our boss. That ring, she got that ring. That was she got one similar to that. But that was a gift. She was getting her hair done, and I was walking through the mall, and our jeweler, he saw me and he called me in. He says, "I got something to show you that I know your wife will like." And he showed it to me, and I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." I didn't know what the cost was, but trust me. It was when it hit my account, I was like, "Wow, I spent that much money." It was a lot. It was let's put it like this: it was more than a small car. You could have bought I could have.
It's an investment.
I could have bought a brand new Toyota Corolla cash with what I paid for that. So that's what you want to do for love. Mm-hmm. So.
Hey, this lasts longer than a Corolla for sure.
It does, and if things go bad, we can always go burn it. And so
It's more affordable. I mean, it's not fair. It's more affordable because we're living off the U.S. dollar. But living here, I think we're equal with the people we live around, because most of them are successful, and so they live a successful life. And, we're probably the poorest people on this estate, from what I've seen, because I don't have 2 Bentleys sitting in my garage. So we're probably the poor people.
But yeah, living on the dollar definitely is beneficial.
Right now,
yes.
But then, like I said, once we get our permanent residence, I'm going to generate income here, and we'll live off the rand here, because money is not hard. That's pretty easy. I mean, and they have plenty of opportunities here. It's just that we can't do anything because we're on a retired visa.
in fact, so this is just some stuff. Once again, the waterfall. The lions are coming. Those are coming. They're going to be out there. This is coming. We got the gym. I did that. Pretty much everything's come to fruition. Yeah.
So what's the difference of thinking about, okay, I want this big house with all these cool things, and printing out the pictures and putting it into a document and creating a timeline for yourself and saying this is the exact vision?
Well,
does that make it more likely that you'll get it?
Well, yes. You put in the right work, and you put in the right effort, and you have the right heart.
And it helps to have that vision.
Right.
Yeah. The vision to see it physically.
And we always used to promote for people to do a dream board. Even if you do it on your refrigerator, you need to put things that you desire in front of you so that you can see it on a regular basis. It'll stay back here, and that means you'll do things to reach those goals. Like when I showed the chart with the exponential growth, most people don't understand exponential growth. They don't understand compound interest. And the earlier you can catch people and teach them the proper way to grow money, it's not hard. It's pretty simple, but you have to be disciplined, and you can't let everything in the world influence you to get it now. It's like, you gotta have the latest iPhone, you gotta have the newest car, you don't need any of that stuff. You need a car that'll get you from A to B, and you need a phone that works. And so I don't jump. I'm not a brand name person. I do wear a brand, but it's mine. Okay? I wear my brand. I'm not trying to make anybody else wealthy. I'm trying to make my family wealthy. And so that's what we've been working on for the last 20 some odd years. And, so if you notice our extensive library, we do reading because we were doing real estate, we were doing financial teaching, we were doing marriage training, marriage coaching. We do premarital counseling and marriage counseling. So but in order to lead people, you have to be read up. You gotta know more than they know in order to help them.
Yeah.
So, my wife's degree is in marriage and family counseling. My degree is in business and finance. And so we just combined all of that along with our biblical undergirding. We both have degrees in ministry, and and so we do everything from the lens of the Bible. My financial teaching is from the lens of the Bible. What does the Bible say about it? When I live my life through the Word of God. This is where I'm at every morning. My wife is doing the same thing back on her terrace. Studying the Word and trying to just do the best right thing we can do. Instead of out there going willy-nilly. We're at a point in our life now about how can we serve other people. It's not about us anymore. I don't need any more. I have just enough to do what I need to do today. I'm good with that. If you'd have talked to me 35, 40 years ago, you'd have thought I was totally insane because I was chasing money. That was all it was. I was a workaholic. I worked 2 jobs constantly, to the detriment of my family, and it's like, but that's all my dad taught me. He said, you gotta be a hard worker. That's all he ever told me. He never said you gotta spend time with the family. He said you gotta be a hard worker. So that's all I did. I worked hard. At one point, I was working 2 jobs, going to college, and trying to be a dad, and trying to be a husband. She was my saving grace because, in college you get 20-page papers, and they do. My typing sucks. So she would type up my papers. But, we did what we had to do. And, did we do a great job of it? I don't know. Our kids they're okay. Sometimes I think they're crazy. But they're fine, and they'll be okay.
They have taught me patience, but I was glad because it helped me to unrev that engine. And so, they're not in a rush. We would love, when we were first here, we would hear the people singing, walking down the street, heading to work, and they were so happy and so joyful. And then, it's like, you see that and you go, wow, this is great. And, we had to learn the difference between I'll be there just now and now, which means
see you when I
see you. I'll see you in 2 hours or I'll see you in 2 days. But, it's okay. We've had where we needed to get some paperwork signed and, we've got the paperwork. The person has the pen right there on their desk and they look at the paper and then they say, I'll get back to you in a day or 2. It's like, I just need a signature, but it's okay. I used to teach customer service. They do customer service well here. They do it well. It's so welcoming. And so I'm like, okay. We've run into and met a lot of people that if I did start a business, I would be poaching.
And yes, I definitely learned patience. I've always thought I was a patient person, but it's patience on another level, I think. Just being here because nobody's in a rush for anything. And I like that fact, the first time I came, the second time, when we were starting to build, and there was load shedding going on. We were renting a condo, and so it was load shedding. It's like, okay, if it was light outside, I'd take a walk, or if it was dark, I would take a nap. But muscles that I didn't even realize how tense and stressed out I was. I learned to relax here. That was the first thing, just learning to relax. And then going to restaurants, it's no rush. You're not rushed to finish and leave the table. So it's just a whole different track. And then, of course, having this house built, that was a whole nother level of patience, because we would come here every day. And it was just like watching it brick by brick was painful. I wouldn't recommend that, but we did it. And then when we'd go home for lunch and come back and be like, "That's as far as they got, another brick." So yeah, I would say patience. And then yes, the people are just so happy, and it's I think where America is more capitalistic and focused on the money aspect and getting. I think the people here are more focused on the family, the FaceTime, and I really appreciate that. I mean, we've had people, and they would stop, block traffic to have a conversation with somebody. It's like that value on FaceTime and spending time together. What surprised me was pre-buying electricity. when they said that, I'm like, what? And then when we first came, we met a lady who. She was renting an apartment and she ran out of water, and she was like, I hadn't bought my water. I'm like, you got to pre-buy water. I mean, we don't with the water here, but that was a little surprising.
Yeah, some places.
And that the banks are so heavily into the apps. That was a little surprising, because I don't know, they just seem like they're more app friendly. A lot of things are app.
You do everything
and
on
then we were at one of the malls, and just buying a simple water, because now they're trying to go cashless. We couldn't pay cash. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't pay cash for a little bottle of water. So I know that's the trend that they're trying to go to, cashless. But
Yeah, they're trying to go. Less stress.
Less stress, less running.
Yeah, no stress, no drama. The only drama I get is when I see feed that come across my computer from America, watching, the stuff that they did in Texas at the rodeo and different things like that. And it's like, really? I mean, because you don't see that here. And I mean, does it happen here? Could be, I don't know. I don't see it. We go out to different places.
Went to the session
numbers,
and
everybody's getting along,
relaxing, listening to music. It's nice. It's nice. It's an environment we can relax in,
right?
And not expect anything crazy to happen.
Yeah, because the first time I went, I was nervous, because I was like waiting for the stabbing or the shooting or somebody to start fighting, but it never came, and I was like, what? You got this many people of color in here drinking, and nobody's fighting, and nobody's stepping on nobody's toe, nobody's trying to take somebody's woman. I'm like, this is pretty good. Now I can go out to restaurants, because in America, when I go to a restaurant, it has to have several exits. I'm former military, and I have PTSD, so I sit with my back to where I can see everybody and everything. I have to. If I hear a noise, I got to check the whole house. I would get my gun and, check the whole house, check the perimeter. Here, I don't have that problem as much. I still get up and check the house. I got cameras everywhere. And, it's like, okay, got an alarm system, got cameras, but that's just for me, because that's that military in me. That's just the due diligence. You're always on alert. But here it allows me to relax a little bit, and and I don't have to take as much medication, because of trauma. But every time I got to go back to America, I feel stressed. I have to talk to my therapist, and I'm like, oh my goodness. When she leaves to go to America, I get stressed, because now I'm worried about her. And so, but here, love it. Building community here is easy, because people are so open and so friendly. They're easy to talk to, and anybody will talk to you. Whereas in certain places in America, people will walk past you like you're a cardboard box on the road. They don't speak, they don't say hello. You know, as we go through the neighborhood and we're walking or whatever, we speak, they speak, you know, everybody speaks, you know, and it's like, okay, I like that. That's community.
And I like that everybody's calling me mommy. Hey, mommy. It's like, okay, everybody's mother.
The food was much better. It was a culture shock because I was like, oh my goodness, food is good.
Because it had so much taste. It was like, wow, we didn't know food was supposed to taste like this because we weren't used to it.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, okay. It was refreshing. I mean, to the point to where when I first got here, I gained weight because I was like, oh my goodness, just eat. But the weight came off, some of it, and but I feel healthier. Good health, friends and family. Money is just a tool, you know, something that you need if you don't die tomorrow. It's something that you can use to help other people with. And that's the new me. That's not the materialistic me, because I was real materialistic. I've owned BMWs, Mercedes, Jaguars. The only car that I haven't owned was the Bentley, and that used to be my dream car until the Tesla replaced it, and then I bought 2 Teslas. And I was like, okay. But I was materialistic. You know, my dream home was 50,000 square feet. I had the plans drawn up and was getting ready to break ground. And all of that changed. And as over time, as I matured, all of the materialistic things went away. You know, it was like, I don't need the fancy cars. I don't need the monstrous house. No, family and friends. You know, and as I sat with people dying, you know, doing ministry, nobody ever said, I wish I'd have worked one more day. They said, I wish I'd have spent more time with my family. I wish I'd have spent more time doing other things besides working. And I was headed down that path because I was a workaholic. You know, work. I love work. I used to be the first one there, the last one to leave. And she was too. You know, that was her, what?
I said at one point.
Yeah, at one point, that was her MO. You know, it was like, I used to have to call her, you know, because she would be working way past her time. You know, she'd get off at 4, she wouldn't leave her office till 9 o'clock. You know, and I'm like, okay, you still at work. And we were just dating back then, and it was like, it was scary because, you know, I couldn't tell her she couldn't. She's not my wife, you know, so. I know the world is planning for 10 years from now because I can see it in the banking industry. I can see it in the building industry. Everybody's planning like there is a tomorrow. I don't know where the world is going. I just know where I'm going. I just want to get deeper grounded in my relationship with Christ, because I'm not a religious person. So, you know, people get kind of scared when I say that, but I'm not, because Yeshua was not a religious person. I'm also not a Christian because he or his father, God, never called me one. And I know you're going to get some pushback on here, but I don't care, because you can't pick up your Bible and show me nowhere where Jesus Christ or God ever called you a Christian. He didn't. He didn't. And Christian, when you research it out, was a derogatory term that was given to the believers by the pagans. Read, it's in the Bible, but most people won't read it. Most people are too busy looking at TikTok videos and stuff like that. So, but I'm not going to give you a sermon or a biblical Bible study right now. But okay, the term nigger, it's basically the same thing. It was a derogatory term that was derived on a people that they received it. just like a lot of black people receive that. And they still use it to this day, but they get mad if somebody else uses it.
But now they use it as a pet term.
It's a pet term for each other, and it's like, stop saying that because you don't like it when somebody else say it to you.
But back to the world, I don't know, you read the Bible about end times. So and we see how things are getting worse as far as crime. I mean, like in America, the shootings, I mean, for a while they were just, it seemed like every other day they were having like a mass shooting. So I don't know and then now the wars, so I kind of wonder, but when I read my Bible, I know that eventually it is going to get worse.
Yeah.
And before it gets better. But God always take care of his people. So
and that's one thing that you don't have to worry about, because he said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. I don't care if all of this implode today. I don't care. We'll be okay. If I had to sleep in my car, I'll be okay. I'm not worried about anything. It's like, okay, I'm going to be okay. So wherever this world is going, it's going. I'm not going to get all flustered. People get on, they look at the news and then they lose their mind. Oh my goodness, the president is doing this and he's doing that and this. Let it go, because you can only control what you can control. Everything else, it's over my pay grade. I'm not gonna worry about that because I can't do nothing about it. So I have to deal with what's in my wheelhouse. Do your homework, do the research.
And definitely visit, because we hear people say that they would just go to a country to move there without ever visiting. So definitely to visit the country first and research, the visas, because that's changing all the time from what we hear, the different visa requirements.
Do your homework, because when we were looking, and I did do the research, because remember, I didn't want to come to a third world country. So
what they say
is a third world country, but they are way more advanced than in a lot of ways than we are in America. I looked at Ghana and Gambia and all of those places, but they didn't have the infrastructure that I needed. This is probably the softest landing for anybody coming out of America. I can't speak for other countries, but this is a soft landing, because if I blindfolded somebody, put them on a plane and brought them here and took them to downtown Pretoria or Cape Town or somewhere, they wouldn't even know they was outside of America. So, yeah.
Especially if you took them to the malls.
Yeah.
The malls amazed us, and that was one of the culture shocks. Just to have everything in one place, I thought that was like the neatest thing, that you could go to the mall, do your grocery shopping, get your dry cleaning, go to the bank, everything you need is in the mall. I was like, wow, that was a neat idea they had. Mm-hmm. And that you could just actually take your little trolley from store to store. I was like, oh wow, this is pretty interesting.
It was amazing because nobody was checking to see if you were stealing. Like they just trust you. It's like, oh my goodness, this.
You come to a place and you try to make it like the place you left. It's like, if you want it to be the place you left, you should
just stay where you were.
So just embrace the culture.